Hello, and my name is CJ, and I'm here to talk to you everything there is about sliders. And this is the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about the third season. The third season is when the ship started to sink and took a major leap forward and a change of direction. The third season was completely different from that of the first two seasons, and many changes was made in the third season. Also, the location on which the show was filmed was changed from Canada to that of LA, and because of that, they had a larger scope in which they are now able to film, and many Hollywood stars would show up. Corey Feldman, Julie Benz, Apollonia Cortia, Michael York, Zoe McLeland, Chase Madison, Don Lewis, Neil Dixon, Roger Daltrey, and even Robert Englund. In the episode Desert Storm, because of the show's direction to have more action, sadly, we see our first actor actually pass away in real life. Ken Steeman lost his life when performing a stunt in that episode. Just like in all the other videos, I'll have links to show you where you can actually purchase this DVD. The season consists of 25 episodes, and they're actually out of order, which is Fox is very known for doing that. On this DVD, the episodes are printed double-sided, which is really bad because if you touch the wrong part of the DVD, you would scratch up your DVD and won't be able to watch the episode. The special features that come with it is a gag reel and 2 bonus episodes from 2 other shows. One show is called Earth 2, and which is a show I've never seen, but the episode is called A Man Who Fell from Earth 2. I've never watched Earth 2, but by the preview I saw of it, this seems like a sci-fi show where they terraform another Earth and call it Earth 2, and they have really bad special effects when it comes to aliens because they're old school puppet-like effects. But another bonus episode in which they give you is from Cleopatra 2525, Quest for Firepower. Now, I highly recommend Cleopatra 2525. It's a really good show, and I love it. It's created by Sam Raimi, the man who created Xena, Young Hercules, and the Spider-Man movies. And Cleopatra 2525 is where people have been driven underground and must fight the machines that occupy the top of the earth. And so there's a group of special people who are trying to conquer back above ground. So pretty much, Cleopatra 2525 is a mix between Charlie's Angels and The Matrix. Pretty much, if every Charlie's Angel was to act just like Xena, fight like her, and had attitude like her, and was a fight machine, then this would pretty much be it. And there are 3 extremely sexy women that are the main cast stars, and it's just a fun, high-octane, action-packed show, and trust me, you will love it. For most people, many fans hate the third season because the show went from the premise of different Earths and different historical events to now, let's throw in a monster in every episode. Both of the creators of Sliders stepped down and are now consultants, and David Peckinpah stepped in as executive producer. We see all kinds of bizarre monsters, everything from vampires, a giant scallop beetle, a dragon, a flame that is able to take on humanoid form and able to communicate with people, a symbiote, and even Quinn himself is zombified. That's right, he turns into a zombie. Many episodes are very movie influenced. They will rip the ideas from many popular movies and make those into television episodes. The episode Electronic Twister Acid Test, that's a huge rip from the Twister movie. The Guardians is a rip from Back to the Future. The Dream Masters is a rip from Nightmare on Elm Street. Dragon Slide is a rip from Merlin. The Prince of Slides is a rip from Junior. State of Art is a rip from AI. Murder Most Foul, a huge rip from the Sherlock Holmes movies. Soul Survivor is a rip from the Shaun of the Dead movies. The Breeder is a rip from Species. Slither is a rip from Anaconda. Stoker is a rip from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Dino Slide is a rip of Jurassic Park. And the Slide of Paradise is a rip-off of The Island of Dr. Moreau. Because of this, many fans just was not pleased and did not like the third season. This is because Fox decided to put their filthy, stinky little fingers into the mix of the show and change things. They even changed the show so much that it was now a more action-packed, sex-driven adventure show. We're now finally starting to see the Sliders use weapons in the episodes. Every time we would see a male bodyguard, he will be some huge bodybuilder guy. If we see a female security officer, then we would see a swimsuit model. Both Sabrina and Kari, throughout every episode, they will either wear a short shorts or a short skirt. And if they wasn't wearing that, then they'll be wearing tight pants or the midriff to be showing. I personally don't have a problem when it comes to both Kari and Sabrina wearing short skirts and shorts because they both have great legs. But for the most part, in the third season isn't totally bad. If you can exclude the whole monster aspect of the show, some of the episodes are actually written pretty well. We no longer see the taxi cab driver, Benish, or Calzone. We even don't even see that much of the Dominion Hotel anymore, maybe except for once. Now the Dominion Hotel has been replaced with the Chandler Hotel, and Calzone has been replaced with Diggs. Diggs is the manager of the bar within the Chandler Hotel, and Diggs knows everything about everyone in town, so he's like the local gossip. Quinn is now in full superhero mode. Every time he slides onto an earth, if he sees even a little scuffle, he swings into action. Even if he doesn't know who started the fight or who is the actual bad person, he pretty much just starts attacking the male and trying to rescue the female. Another person in which he tries to rescue is actually himself. In the episode The Guardians, they slide to an earth that seems to be about 12 years behind. So Quinn actually meets his younger self and tries to help his younger self overcome his problem with the bullies he's having at school. After sliding for a full 2 years, Quinn is now starting to get to the point where he's just tired of everything. He's tired of worrying about everybody else. He wants to just worry about himself. He doesn't care necessarily about the problems in which other worlds are having. He simply has just burnt out. We now start to see that his relationship with the professor has grown to the point of college professor student to father and son. Now with the professor gone, Quinn has taken on the role of the world savior. The relationship with Rembrandt, however, is starting to break down. Rembrandt is starting to feel as though Quinn is starting to become selfish, and he is starting to put other people before the Sliders. One episode in which we see this happen is Slither. And in Slither, Quinn is desperately trying to help a woman, but he doesn't know this woman is crooked. And Quinn is so devoted in helping this woman because he's in love with her, that where he is willing to leave both Wade and Maggie on that earth to help this woman slide to a new earth, then slide back to the earth in which Wade and Maggie are on. Rembrandt convinces him not to do this because Rembrandt says, you know, there's no telling what might happen when we get to the other world or what might happen to the timer. Another huge argument in which we see that Quinn and Rembrandt have is in the two-part episode, The Exodus. In the second part, after Quinn discovers the coordinates for Earth Prime, the other sliders later on find out. When both Wade and Rembrandt want to hurry and slide early, Quinn tells them, you know, we made a promise to these people on this Earth to help them before their Earth is destroyed by the pole stars. Rembrandt goes back into whole season 1 mode of blaming Quinn for putting everybody's lives in danger in the first place by creating sliding. So Rembrandt lays on the guilt trip on Quinn big time. And then Wade later on joins in on that guilt trip. Professor also becomes a little bit more laid back after finding out that he's about to die. He's very careless and just doesn't care about what happens and the things he does on other Earth. In the episode The Guardians, he not only gets into a bar fight with a bunch of bikers, but he also goes bungee jumping. Because he is now stricken with that of a terminal illness, the professor pretty much just wants to leave the rest of the sliders and go about his own business without them worrying about him. Quinn, on the other hand, doesn't want the professor to leave because now their bond is stronger than that of the first and second season, to where they see each other as a father-son relationship. The professor decides to stay, and because of that, he is now reverted back to how he was in the first season as being the world savior. He does everything from enabling the slider's timer to function during an electrical twister to repairing that of an android. In the episode State of Art, when the professor is help repairing an android, him and Wade have a huge discussion about whether or not androids are actually living beings. He feels as though they're just a toaster, whereas she feels though even though they are synthetic, they are still considered living and real. However, because the actor playing the professor was having disagreement with the writers and the producers, they decided to fire him in the first half of the third season. In the episode The Exodus, we actually see the professor's last appearance. As he is trying to save a world, a man by the name of Colonel Rickman shoots him. Rembrandt, in the third season, we start to see he's becoming even more mature than he did in the second season. He becomes a father in the episode The Prince of Slides, in which he gives birth to the male heir who is supposed to become king as he grows up. We see him become the father figure of a young boy named Malcolm in the Exodus. Also, we start to see that Rembrandt is now starting to develop feelings for Wade. His feelings have been progressing, I'm assuming, since the second season. And he actually reveals this while he's under a spell in the episode Dragon Slide. She, at first, is kind of like, I don't like you like that, we're just friends. But then as she starts to hear why exactly he cares for her, we start to see her open up a little bit and start to fall for him. And because of this, those two are always paired together in certain episodes. After Rembrandt finds out that the professor is dying and that Quinn knew about it the whole time in the internal body, he is upset at the fact the professor will keep this information from him, and that the professor doesn't see both him and Quinn as equal. Wade, by season 3, we still see her character development, in which she is still able to get information out to local people. She also is still highly opinionated and is still willing to help people on other Earths on which she does not know. In the episode Fire Within, we actually discover that Wade wants to have a baby. The only time we see real character development in her is when Maggie comes aboard. Maggie and Wade do not get along whatsoever. Wade doesn't like the fact that Quinn picks her over them, and she doesn't like the fact that Maggie talks ill of the now deceased professor. She doesn't like Maggie's lust for blood, and she doesn't like her attitude or arrogance. So we start to see the Wade character is now breaking down and is no longer in control of her emotions the way she used to be. In a very stupid episode in which I hate, entitled Stoker, is a vampire episode. And yes, I said it, a vampire episode. In that episode, after losing the professor and all her emotions breaking down, she starts to unwind by hanging out with this group of vampires that have her slightly under some mind control. In that episode, we learn out that not only can she sing, but she's now starting to heal herself by doing dangerous things. And in fact, she endangered the lives of the other Sliders, as the vampires are trying to eat them. The character of Maggie really doesn't get along with most of the Sliders. She gets along with Quinn very well because she's in love with him. She gets okay with Rembrandt for the most part, but they have a couple of disagreements in ways in which she handles other worlds. Her and Wade, however, they do not get along at all. They are constantly bickering and fighting with each other. Maggie sees Wade as being weak, and Wade sees Maggie as being a bitch. When the Sliders are on one world, Maggie is infected by a symbiote. It grows within her belly and is trying to mate with that of other men. In the last episode, this Slider Paradise, Sliders enter a world where they are human hybrid animal creatures. They also encounter Rickman, who has undergone a metamorphic state after injecting himself with the DNA of that of the mutant people. After the Sliders regain not only their timer, but Rickman's timer as well, they are now able to slide back to Earth Prime. After everybody says their goodbyes to Maggie, Rickman and the mutant people attack. Quinn pushes both Wade and Rembrandt into the vortex back to Earth Prime. As Rickman attempts to slide with them, he falls off the cliff. After both Maggie and Quinn defeat the mutant people, they then slide. However, they realize that they are not on Earth Prime but alternate Earth, because his timer was damaged in the battle, in which it was not able to track Rickman's timer. Well, that's the rundown of the third season. Stay tuned next time. I'll talk to you about the fourth season. Talk to you later. Bye.